I don't know how much the sunset's going to show up in this video, but this is about one of the best, most beautiful sunsets I've ever seen. So, there it is. Well, so anyway, I promised a video about Donald Trump and how he's trying to, you know, he's pro-Russian, and the Russians have always kind of been anti-Israel. So I think that's kind of interesting because Trump is getting a lot of support from the Christian people, and the Christian people happen to be supporters of Israel, whereas it's kind of a little bit hard to tell if Russia supports Israel or not. And you know, Putin has been a little bit more supportive of Israel than the past Soviet leaders, but there's still quite a bit of tension there. So it's kind of interesting that he's riding that fine line. The other thing I want to talk about a little bit is how Trump is trying to pull the United States back in time. He's trying to pull the United States back to where we were in the 1950s. So how he's able to do that, why he's able to do that, is he's able to do that by making it think that the things that were the jobs that we had in the 50s, the way of life we had in the 50s, the shrinking of the world like it was in the 1950s, where you didn't have massive barges that could move grain across the oceans. You know, the farming in the 1950s was a lot different than the farming is today. Today, grain prices, that's a global market. Back in the 1950s, it was a national market. All this stuff that Trump is trying to do to keep the United States from being part of a newer way of living, a newer way of doing things, that is inevitable with the internet. As if people doing things on the internet, people doing business around the world. I mean, I know that everybody thinks that's globalism and they don't like it, but the fact of the matter is that's the way business is done. Business is done globally, and it's not done anymore just nationally. And you have to be open to doing business globally. You have to be open to other markets and doing business with other people, which Donald Trump hates. Because that's not the trigger points that he's going on right now. The trigger points he's going on right now is by taking nationalism to the next level, or bringing it back to the 1950s, and to generally just trying to undo everything that's been done in the last 25, 30 years. And what we've done in the last 25 or 30 years hasn't been globalism so much as it's just been making the world a place to do business, a better way of doing business. If you don't want to pull up into that way of doing business, then you're going to get left behind. And that's all there is to it. So anyway, most of this video was just about the sunset. But I tried to say a few things while the sunset was in the background. I don't know if I got my point across or not, but I appreciate you watching. Thanks.